Now we're going to begin to go a little bit deeper and share the actual practice of Hopeology and all of the components that are a part of it. And we're going to begin today by looking at how we can anchor the symbols of hope that we've talked about. And we'll do a little bit of review so that we can come back up to speed with symbols and the hope symbolism. But anchoring is an important part of the whole practice of Hopeology. So before we begin, I'd like to share this with you about the practice of Hopeology. The practice of Hopeology, or POH, is a self-help empowerment tool. It is not meant to diagnose or treat mental disorders and should therefore be used in conjunction with any medical and mental health treatment that you are currently receiving or will receive. It is like supplemental vitamins that can be used as a part of your overall health and wellness routine. The results may vary based upon many variables. However, the practice of Hopeology provides a non-invasive way to increase overall health and well-being. If you have thoughts of suicide, please call 988. It's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that is available 24 hours in the United States of America. So I just wanted to share that because one of the things we understand as we're talking about this practice of Hopeology is that it is a powerful way to increase your hope and also to help others. It's a non-invasive in that it's not anything chemically that you're putting in your body or what have you. And then the practices are something that can be done based upon your pace of life, your routine, and just how it will work for you. And as we're training others in the practice of Hopeology, it's very important to let them know that as well, that this is not some rigid system that it has to be done this way or it's not going to work, because it's so unique and it's so broad that it can fit right in with your lifestyle and your beliefs and whatever routine that you may already have, just to enhance what you're doing to help you feel better. And I'm a living witness, and we have many who have been utilizing some of the components of the practice of Hopeology, and literally their lives have changed. It's just like anything else, though. It's a matter of doing it. I would just say to anyone who is interested to try these different strategies that we're going to be talking about for at least 30 to 90 days. And just do a journal, do some journaling and what have you, and just see if your overall sense of hope and well-being increases. I guarantee you, though, there will be some components of the practice of Hopeology that will make a connection with you or with your clients, the people that you will be sharing this with, and that will be helpful. Let's get started. And today we're looking at how to anchor our symbols of hope. So as a way of review, I want to share again about hope symbolism. During the MIC Survey of Hope, we found that there are universal symbols of hope that are very important to having and keeping hope. And I want to say this anchoring process is about keeping hope. We hear the phrase that Reverend Jesse Jackson said long ago, many decades ago now, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. And that's something that we still say today. We have to keep hope alive. So we're going to look at, through these anchoring principles of anchoring the symbols of hope, how to keep hope alive. Universal symbols of hope are often subtle, but they can create a more hopeful environment. Based upon our observations, we have compiled a list of symbols of hope, which is by no means an exhaustive list. So the list is growing day by day, and you add your own things to the list as well. So this is just like a starter kit. Amen. And so it's by no means exhaustive. It demonstrates that there are symbols of hope all around, and that's the key. There are symbols of hope all around. Now let's keep going here. Some of the hope symbolisms that we looked at through the practice of Hopeology: cross, anchor, butterfly, rainbow, baby, hot air balloon, star, bubbles, Christmas, lighthouse, waterfalls, candle, so many things that we looked at. Stress balls of hope. We're going to anchor a few of these, and the ones that we're going to anchor today are the stress ball of hope. And I can't wait, because there's a lot of great information about the benefits of the stress ball that, quite frankly, I did not even know, but intuitively it became a part of our hope practice of Hopeology and our hope campaign. We did a 10,000 balls for hope campaign, where we gave out thousands of balls to people all around, all across the nation and around the world. And then later I ran across this study that showed the benefits of the stress ball. And I was like, wow, that is so powerful. So we're definitely going to anchor the stress ball today. We are going to anchor wind chimes today, and that's one of my favorite sounds. We're going to look at the ocean and the waves. That's another one of my favorites. We're going to have a little fun and anchor bubbles. And those bubbles, I tell you, they are really powerful when it comes to anchoring hope. Why? Because some of the symbols of hope include smiles and laughter. And what happens whenever you blow bubbles? Okay, the child in you comes out, and it begins to create this atmosphere now where you feel better. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at anchoring a candle, and I tell you, the anchor itself, anchoring hope. To anchor means to keep hold or be firmly fixed. And the scripture reference is Hebrews, the 6th chapter and the 19th verse. This hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for our souls. It leads us through the curtain into God's inner sanctuary. We're talking about anchoring hope, and the first thing I want us to look at is the symbol of the anchor. The anchor itself represents hope in so many ways, because whenever we see the anchor and we think about the function of an anchor, to hold firmly, to fix in place, that's what we want our hope to be. We want our hope to be firmly fixed on the foundation of Jesus Christ, and the hope that is an anchor for our souls. So how do we anchor the symbol of the anchor? Well, as you see here, you can actually get these, and you can hang it in your home, in your room, your bedroom, or some other place in your house. You can hang it in your office or in your car. And the most important thing when we're talking about anchoring is that you allow it to represent hope. You allow it to represent the fact that it's going to be all right, that things are going to get better. Remember, we talked about how hope, the definition is the expectation, the pregnant expectation that things will change for the better. So that is one way to anchor, and one of the symbols is the anchor. And just by having it present, whether it's a image or whether it's some type of photo, and just allowing it to associate that particular picture of the anchor with hope. And that's something that we can do. And then once you begin to make that association, because that's what it means when we're talking about anchoring hope, it's just making association with the various symbols to represent hope. Now we'll look at the stress ball that I told you about whenever we're talking about anchoring hope through the use of the stress ball. And before we get into the anchoring process, I want to tell you some benefits of stress balls. Benefits of the stress balls: relieve arthritis pains, enhance emotional stability, reduce anxiety and stress, lower blood pressure, improve concentration and creativity, strengthen muscles, increased positive energy, and that's what we call hope, that positive energy, and improve sleep. Who knew that the stress ball was so beneficial for our health and well-being? Well, it is. And that's why we use it as one of our symbols of hope, that we can anchor hope. Now, how do you do that? Well, primarily, whenever you're talking about the stress ball, because it has so many benefits to it, it's just good to squeeze it at any time. But especially whenever you're going through a high anxiety situation, maybe you're preparing for a test, or maybe you're going on a date for the first time, or maybe you just received some bad news or some type of diagnosis or what have you, whatever the case may be, to just kind of throw you off or move you from that place of peace where you need a little hope in the midst of it. Just begin to squeeze it. And not only squeeze it, but speak and say, it's going to be okay. There is hope. God is in control. And like we always say, as long as there's breath in your body, there is hope. And anchoring involves anything that you can do to bring in all of your five senses into the process. You will be able to remember it, and it'll make the associations, because that's one of the things that our brains are always doing, and that's making associations. So you want this stress ball now to be associated with hope. And I'm going to tell you a testimony from me, since we've been doing the whole hope campaign and then the practice of Hopeology, and we utilized stress balls from the beginning. And I said, okay, I'm going to be a guinea pig. And I started utilizing the stress ball, and we've had different ones, and now this is our latest, and it's branded with the practice of Hopeology, and it says hoped on here. But and I love it because it's the brain and we have to think hope. So that's been about 4 years now that I've been walking with these stress balls and utilizing these stress balls. And now anytime I see a stress ball, it makes me smile, because now I understand what it means and the benefits, and also it represents hope to me now. And that's what anchoring is all about. Taking just simple objects, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money, and then begin to make that association of hope. How does this work? Well, the reason why I believe that anchoring is so powerful is because of the way we have been created by God. We have what's called these endorphins that are in our brain. They're hormones and chemicals that can be released. And I'm going to read you some information about endorphins. Endorphins are peptides produced in the brain that block the perception of pain and increase feelings of well-being. They are produced and stored in the pituitary gland of the brain, and they activate the body's opiate receptors, causing an analgesic effect. The endorphins and natural opiates in our brain are released whenever we associate these various symbols of hope, and it causes that good feeling. It blocks pain, and it causes the feeling of well-being. And that is something that we can do, and it really makes a difference. Now I'd like to anchor the wind chimes. I love wind chimes, and the sound of wind chimes have been identified as one of the sounds of hope. How we anchor the wind chimes is by placing them in strategic places where, and in my home, I put them where there are air conditioned vents, so that when the air condition comes on, it just begins to chime for a little bit. And just that sound picks me up. It just makes me feel good. It's like, oh, there is hope. And also in the garden of hope that we have, we've placed the wind chimes there, and just all around, because now that sound has been associated with hope. So when I hear that sound, I immediately smile, and then I may think about, it's going to be all right. So that's another way that we can anchor hope through sound. Another symbol of hope was the candle. Now, the candle is so wonderful in order to anchor hope, because now it brings us to not only the sight, because if you notice, we're using all of the five senses, and all the five senses are used in this anchoring process, depending upon the symbol that we're looking at. Now, with the scented candle, it's both the smell. Now, this is a smell of rose, a smell that is sweet, and also the act of, if we lit the candle here, and so we do this very carefully, and just the light of what it represents, the light, especially in dark times or in the midst of the darkness, there is a light, and sometimes it's just a flicker, a candle light, but that's all the light that's needed in order to dispel the darkness. So candles are definitely symbols of hope, and whenever we light one and we say, there is hope, it's going to be all right. There's light even in the midst of this dark time, and it becomes a powerful symbol of hope. Now I'd like to share with you one of my favorites, and that is bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. We cannot play with bubbles without laughing. When we do this and we give out these little bubbles at our Hope Immersion Retreat workshops, this is an excellent way to anchor your hope, because it causes you to smile and to see children and my grandkids, especially when I play with the bubbles with them, and they're laughing and they're running around and they're having a good time, and I join them because I just love bubbles. And that brings me to the smile. Smiles are symbols of hope. And there are sayings that say, when you smile, the whole world will smile with you or smile back. It's just something about smiling that brings hope. Laughter is the sound of hope. And just to be able to do those things and have that kind of playful joy and humor, it lightens whatever load there may be. It's a powerful way to anchor your hope. Some other ways, going out in nature and spending time, maybe walking through different nature trails or what have you. Also, I love the ocean and the sound of the waves. And then if there's a rainbow that brings just so much joy and so much hope. Symbols of hope are all around. Symbols of hope help us to anchor our hope. So take the Hope Challenge. Anchor a symbol of hope today. As a matter of fact, anchor several and then share your experience with us. I guarantee you won't regret it.